I'm going to go in with my blush first, and I'm using the Nudies Matte Blush Stick in Sherry. Or Sherry. Let's just go with Sherry because it sounds better. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new, then welcome to my channel, which is all about educational beauty with a few product reviews along the way. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing game-changing beauty secrets that a lot of pro makeup artists use, including myself, and I think you're going to love it. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. You can also catch me over on Instagram, where you can watch me on stories or my feed, get to watch some unboxing, or just generally what I get up to when I'm not filming for YouTube. Now let's jump straight into the video. Firstly, can I just say that I have missed you guys? I have really missed filming. I know you're probably a bit confused because my video's been coming out every 3 days. Actually, I've just come back from London a few days ago. I spent about 10 days out there, so prior to going out to London, I just did all of my filming. I filmed that entire 101 series, which by the way, I know you guys have been loving, and I'm really, really happy about that. I hope you've learned so much from it. I couldn't wait to get back to just get started on like new content for you guys. I've been coming up with so many different ideas while I've been in London. I was actually there because my baby sister's getting married, and yeah, it was just really nice to spend some time with like siblings and mom and dad and things like that. So that was really, really nice. But at the end of the trip, I was like saying to my husband, I can't wait to get back. I just want to get back into filming. I'm back creating new content for you guys, and I'm really excited about it. By the way, do we like the hair? Like, I don't know. I thought I'd just do it and then see what you guys say, because I don't usually tie any of it up other than like slick back low kind of bun thing. But what do you think? Is it something I should keep? Should I mix it up a little bit with this? How are you finding it? I don't know why I just felt like big hoops went with this kind of hairstyle. Anyway, it may look really bad, I don't know, but you guys can let me know. So I'm really excited about this video. So let's get to it. This is something I do once or twice a month, and this is basically an at-home kind of less aggressive version of dermaplaning. Now, it helps me in two ways. One, it gets rid of peach fuzz, so any kind of like facial hair. As you guys may already know, with facial hair, the makeup it sits good, but you know, once you've tried it without any facial hair, you're just never going back, because the finish that it gives you with no hair there, your makeup just sits perfectly. It just looks amazing. You just have super like, it just looks really nice. I use this, and it kind of like, it's like this blade, and this one is by Exclusive. I don't know, I'll put links to a few different ones below, but this one is, yeah, it's Exclusive. It comes in like, it's like 3 of them in a pack. And basically what I do is I do this at nighttime because I don't want to really apply any makeup on my skin straight after doing it. Now, dermaplaning is basically where you are kind of taking the top layer of your skin off. So like the dead skin, the dull skin. It kind of like gives you a really nice glow to your skin. Like you can see your fresh new skin, but also your skincare products they are much more easily penetrated into the skin. Now, I did this about 4 days ago. So that's when I did it. I couldn't show you this on camera because it's something, like I said, I do at nighttime. So what I do is I basically go down in the direction of the hair growth. Also, this is something that I would not recommend, you know, just trying yourself randomly. Like, you've got to have a very light hand for this. It isn't something that you should go away and just like start, you know, really research into it as well. I'm not going to say to you that I think that this is something you should just buy and try yourself. I know I have a steady hand. Like, it helps me in makeup artistry. So I know that I'm very, very careful with my skin, and I know that I'm doing it in the right way, you know. So there's several people do this at home. You can also use an actual razor if you want. Like, I think Huda Beauty kind of spoke about in a previous video, like numerous times on quite old videos, about how she just shaves her face basically. I do it for a couple of reasons, like I said, for getting that really like dead skin off, but I prefer to use this. Now, I think based on her video, she uses an actual razor, which may be easier for you if you don't want to kind of like handle this, which I would recommend using that instead. But again, you still go in the downward direction of the hair growth. So what I do is I do my entire face, other than my brows, obviously, because even though you may not see it, you have very, very fine hair around areas like this. I get rid of all of it. So what I tend to do is kind of like pull the hair, pull my skin taut, and then I kind of like go. So you don't hold it in that direction, you just go down. I do very short kind of movements like this, and then I get rid of the fluff. You'll see loads of fluff coming off, and I get rid of that, and then I just carry on. And I do that all over. You've got to be very, very light-handed with this because it obviously is like a sharp blade. I like to go all over. I start from the top and I work my way down on one side, and then I do the other side. You will be amazed at, you'll see dead skin coming off, but you'll also see obviously the hair that you probably didn't even realize that you had there. And you just carry on doing it, and it gives you the most amazing smooth finish. After I've taken everything off my face, obviously, so your skin needs to be, it can either be dry, or if you feel that it's just too dry, like maybe your skin is quite dry anyway, I would probably put like a really light oil, like a face oil on, and then you can do it, because it just gives you a bit more movement with the razor or the blade. You do that, and then after you've done it, I like to just kind of like, if you've already put an oil on, then that's fine, but I like to then kind of just wash my face very lightly with some water to take off whatever dead skin is there. And then I let that dry, and then I go in with a really nice hydrating moisturizer, because I know now my skin is ready to kind of really make the most of that product. It really is down to what your preference is, but I love it. So you don't have to do it, but you know, it is something that I think will give you a great finish. If you can understand color theory, then you are going to make makeup so much easier for yourself. Even things like color correcting and understanding which kind of undertones work for you, all of that will be made much easier for you. And I feel like there's so many people that actually don't understand color theory, and therefore they end up using the wrong color correctors or wrong foundations, wrong concealers. So it's something that I think that you need to look at a color wheel for. So if you look at a color wheel, you'll be able to see that the opposite to red is green. Now, if you have a lot of redness on your skin, then the color which is going to help to neutralize that is the green. If you have like a spot or a pimple and it's quite pink or red, if you go in with a green color corrector, it neutralizes the redness. Using that green color corrector to neutralize that redness will make like concealing it 100 times easier. Like you won't need to use as much concealer or foundation to cover up that area. I'm sure you've probably had that frustration when you have a pimple that's quite red and you're really trying to cover it, and you're just constantly going in and you're like, oh my god, it's just like layered on so much now. So this is where color corrector can really help, because that redness won't come through because you've neutralized it with the green. Same for example, when you have like purple bluish kind of under eyes, the orange helps to neutralize that. So if you look at the color spectrum, you'll see that the orange really helps to kind of neutralize the blue, purple kind of like hues. I think it will also help you with what kind of colors suit which skin tone. Like for example, golden colors really suit warmer skin tones, and purple is great on like, it really makes green eyes pop. So there are various different things. Once you understand the color theory of makeup, then it helps you so much more in what colors suit what kind of skin tones and what color eyes. I already know what you guys are asking. Doesn't the foundation cover everything up, and doesn't that defeat the whole point of actually applying it? Not exactly, because by using a cream blush, cream bronzer and cream highlighter underneath a lightweight foundation, it actually gives you a much more subtle, soft focus effect to the skin. So it gives you that really nice lit from within glow that I feel like a lot of us kind of want. So I'm actually going to apply it now to show you guys how you can still see the blush, still see the bronzer, and you can still see the highlight, but it's just not so kind of in your face. It's very subtle. So I've already got my concealer on in all of the areas that I really want to kind of cover up. So I'm going to go in with my blush first, and I'm using the Nudies Matte Blush Stick in Sherry, or Sherry. Let's just go with Sherry because it sounds better. So I'm going to actually apply this on my cheeks. Now, this is where you can go a little bit extra with it, because obviously we're going to go on top with a much lighter finish foundation. Now, again, this only works if you're going to use a lightweight foundation. If you're going to use a medium coverage or full coverage foundation, yes, it's going to cover everything up. So I'm going to apply this just along my cheeks here. This is where I like to apply my blush. I don't like to have it right in the middle. I feel like this gives me just more of a kind of lifted look. I'm actually going to use the brush on the other end of the stick for this because I think it's actually a pretty good brush. So I'm just gonna buff the edges. So I'm not really focusing on spreading it around too much. I just want to kind of get rid of those harsh edges, because even if there's a lot of product in the middle section of that, that's okay with me, because I feel like then it's going to kind of come through quite nicely once we've applied the foundation on top. I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Tantour. It's a contour and bronzing cream, and as you guys know, I like to kind of contour at the same time as bronzing, so I like to use kind of like either concealers, or sometimes I do use kind of bronzing products, but I like to do it all in one. So I'm getting my sponge, I'm getting my beauty blender, and I'm just kind of like grabbing some of the product. It doesn't mean you have to use a beauty blender, you can use a brush if you want to. It really depends on what your preference is. So I'm going to go ahead and start bronzing my face. So the first thing I really want to do is create a really nice kind of sculpted look here, because I want to create that at the same time as kind of like bronzing my face. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this here and into the hairline here. So I'm going to just go ahead and start buffing this in. I'm going to put a little bit on the side of the nose actually. I just totally forgot about my nose, but you know, let's just go ahead and do that. Now I'm just gonna like flip, I was using this part of the sponge, the side, and I'm gonna just like kind of flip it over so that I can use the other side, and there's nothing on that side, and that side is gonna kind of absorb some of the product, but also kind of blend it in. So I'm keeping it in the same place. I'm just kind of like blending it so that when I apply my foundation on top, you can't see any harsh lines. So I'm gonna do the same on this side, go into the hairline. I'm going to use my Rare Beauty Mesmerize Liquid Highlighter, and I'm going to apply this along here. This is another reason I really like, not all the time, but sometimes applying all of this underneath foundation, because I don't like applying too much highlight on certain areas, because I feel like it does enhance any flaws that you may have. So I feel like by applying it underneath foundation, it kind of like gives you that lit from within look, but at the same time it's not kind of like, you know, attracting too much attention to the areas which clearly I don't have clear skin, as in like smooth skin. So I like to apply it in different areas. It just gives me a really nice finish once the foundation is on. And you can layer this on as well. I like to just go a little bit up here. I'm gonna get my sponge. I'm just gonna go with the same one that I used and use the back of it. There's not really much product on there. And I'm basically just gonna buff this in. So the foundation that I'm going to use is the Nude Sticks Tinted Cover Foundation. It's ultra light, like honestly the coverage is not great on this, so again my concealer did all of that coverage for me, so I'm not too concerned about if this foundation gives me coverage. It's very lightweight as well, so I'm going to just go in with another beauty blender and just start buffing this in, and I'm going to start on the forehead. Can you see how you can still see the blush and the bronzer coming through? Yeah, I think you're gonna love this technique. Now that we've done that, you can see that everything is still coming through. You can still see the blush, the bronzer, the highlight coming through. Now, some people like to leave it as that and then they don't set it with any powder, which is great. Some people like to set. I personally like to set it, but just bear in mind, if you do set it in the way that I'm gonna set it, it's not gonna be as glowy, but that's my preference. Like, I like this look because I feel like I've got everything still coming through and I don't need to apply it on top, but equally I wanna make sure it kind of like stays put all day. So setting it is going to ultimately mattify it a little bit, so it really depends on where you set it. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eyes first because that's most important to me. I'm just using my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder and basically just squeeze my Laura Mercier powder puff. Just apply it, just press it in. Okay, I don't really let that bake or sit there. I just take it off straight away. That way it doesn't look too dry on the under eye area. Now the other areas that I probably want to set is like my laugh lines here and just around the nostril. probably this bit here, because I really don't need that to be shiny or glowy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dust that off. Now, the rest of the areas, I'm happy with kind of leaving it like that because I feel like I'm still getting that kind of glow come through. I feel like you can still see the blush coming through. So you can just take a brush over other areas that maybe you want to mattify and just you don't want to deal with it coming off or sliding off or anything later. I feel like it's just giving that nice lit from within look, like I said. This is how I apply my blush, bronzer, and highlight underneath foundation. So this is one of my favorites. I've been doing it for years and years and I think it's amazing. And I get so many people commenting on this. I get a lot of people asking me like, what eyeshadow are you using? I like the eye makeup that you've got on right now. Actually, this happens to me a lot when I arrived for clients that I'm working on, and I turn up and then I'm like, you know, what do you want to kind of go for? And a lot of the time they say, I want my eye makeup like you. And then that's when I have to kind of explain to them, I'm actually not wearing any eye makeup. I only have like tiniest amount of eyeliner, and it's not even worth really telling them I'm wearing eyeliner because it isn't visible. That's the kind of look that I love, and I wear. This is my go-to eye look, honestly, because I just don't have to worry about applying eyeshadow. It really depends on my mood or how much time I have, actually, to be honest, it's how much time I have. Let's go to it. So I basically want to have my false lashes on. I feel like that kind of finishes my eye look for me, and that's all I really need. But the problem is I don't like wearing a full lash. I like to cut it so that there's a gap here on the inner corner, because then I don't feel it and I feel like it's just way more comfortable as well. And I just feel like there's too much going on there. I like it to be a little bit more elongated. So I cut my lashes so that I cut it at the end, but then I kind of move it across so that we've got a gap there. But the problem is when you have that gap, it's obvious that you've got false lashes on. Obviously, it's obvious if you've got pretty long false lashes anyway. But I mean, I don't want to see any kind of disconnect there. So what I do is I get a liquid liner and I actually apply it just here before I put my false lashes on, and then I go ahead and apply my false lashes, and that's it. It's done. So let's get to it. Okay, so I've got my Huda Beauty Lifeliner pen, and what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna go super, super close. So right here, I'm gonna just apply a really thin line. That's it. Literally, that is all I do on that inner corner, and then I apply my lashes. So I'm just gonna apply it here. So you can see it is ultra, ultra thin. I've gone super, super close to my lash line, and I've literally just stopped a quarter of the way in. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my lash. I'm applying it super, super close. And if you can see, we've got the whole look, and that section there is filled in, and that's all we need to do. We don't even need to do anything else. There's no need to apply eyeliner. I'm not gonna lie, these are obviously my lashes, and I've made them so that you don't have a thick strip. So these lashes in general are very good quality, and the strip is very thin and flexible and comfortable. So that does help. So I'm not gonna say this works with every lash, because I feel like some lash strips are so thick and stiff that you kind of like have to use eyeliner, but I don't want to wear eyeliner with every look. So this is something that I would say works very well with obviously my lashes. And I know we're not available in the US yet, but we're hoping. Demand is growing. So many of you guys are actually messaging asking about it, and all I would say is please go to your local Sephora and your Ulta. Just drop them a DM on Instagram and say that you want to see our lashes in their store, because the more people that tell them about it, the more likely they're going to take them. So let's hope. So yeah, that's where I want to really get in, so that you guys have got full access to them. And then, you know, every time, you know, we're doing these tutorials, I feel like it's very easy for you to go out and get them. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye. Hopefully you guys get to kind of like try the lashes, but also try this technique. And if you can't get hold of my lashes, then obviously go for something which has a thinner strip. Then, you know, like if you have a heavy lash, the strip is usually a bit thicker, but on my ones they're a lot thinner than what you would usually get. Try it out and let me know what your thoughts are. eyeshadow placement is really important when it comes to trying to fake a wide-eyed look or just generally wanting to get a more larger-eyed look. I would always recommend staying away from darker shades on your lid, especially on the waterline area, because it's going to close up the eye and just make them look even smaller. Try and stick to lighter colors so that it kind of opens up the eye. So if you think about it, let me explain this to you. So when you have dark colors, it tends to make the area look small. When you have a lighter color, the light bounces off of that and it gives the illusion of a larger surface area. So if you use lighter colors on your eyes, you're basically doing that. You're helping the light to bounce off of it and giving the illusion of a larger surface area. So for example, you could use a lighter shade on the inner corner, or you could use just generally a lighter champagne color over the whole lid, and that will also help to really kind of open up your eye. Now I want to show something which is a very quick trick. I want to show you what I do to help kind of get that really nice kind of wide-eyed look. Now I'm going to use the MAC NW25 and NC30. That's actually what it's called. Well, that's the shade name. And it's the Studio Chromographic Pencil. I absolutely love this color because I feel like it's just the right light color. It's not white. White is just way too, you don't want white. You want to get more of a nudish shade so it looks more natural. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this. You're going to see how much of a difference this makes. It's crazy. So I'm going to apply this just on my waterline. So I'm going to go all the way across and I pull it down, because if I don't pull it down, I'm ending up like kind of getting that pencil on my lashes and it just looks really messy. It makes such a big difference. Like, it's crazy. But it just kind of like opens up the eyes straight away. I really hope you guys can see this through the camera. Now I'm also going to apply this just on the top section. You don't have to, but if you have very small eyes, you might find that this helps as well. So I'm just going to lift this and I'm going to just apply this. This always tickles me a lot, guys. Ooh, I need to stop every so often because it just tickles me. Okay, so that has basically opened up my eye area, and I know I can see it, hopefully you guys can see it, but it just looks subtle but a lot wider. I'm just going to do this on the other side because otherwise I just look weird. Oh my god, it's so ticklish. Okay, right, this is the bit that really tickles. Oh, I don't know why this side is even more ticklish than the other side. Okay. Ooh. Oh, why is that so ticklish? Okay, done it. Now the obvious trick is applying some highlighter on the inner corner. But what if you don't want to apply a highlighter? What if you don't want that whole shiny look? I know I don't personally like it that often. Well, then in which case you can go for a lighter matte powder. I always refer to this as my matte highlighter because it's less obvious. It hides texture and it still gives you that highlighted look, but without looking super glowy. So I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder in medium, and I'm using my Zoeva 230 brush, and I'm just going to apply this on the inner corner where I would apply that kind of typical kind of sparkly highlighter look. And this is also going to help to just open up that area. So this is great if, you know, you don't want to use a sparkly, shimmery highlight. I always like this because it's just, I like matte, so it's just great for like getting that kind of wide-eyed look without it looking like I've applied loads of glittery highlighter everywhere. You can obviously apply this on other areas, like even on your like lid here, that light shade. I'm very lightly doing it, so like you can actually do this with your finger if you want. It just opens up the whole area. Now, if you do want to apply darker colors on your eyes and you still obviously want your eyes to look larger and they're quite small, then I would suggest applying it kind of more into the crease area here, but taking it upwards slightly. But then in turn, if you're gonna do that, it's gonna make your eyes look a little bit smaller. So you wanna kind of like counteract it with a lighter shade. So maybe either go in with a kind of shimmery highlighter color, like a champagne color, or even what I just used, and apply that kind of like over the whole lid and transition it into that kind of darker shade that you've used. So at least you've got that darkness that you maybe want, but you've opened up the eye area as well. This is really easy to do. So this is where you want to get a really thin brush, slightly pointy. So I'm using the Sigma Winged Liner E06 brush because it's slightly slanted. And I'm going to use a dark brown. You can use any dark brown eyeshadow or even black if you want to. It depends on your skin tone. So I'm going to use the shade Multitasker from the Tartelette. This is the Amazonian Clay palette. And I'm basically applying it to the tip of my brush. I'm taking the excess off on the back of my hand. Like I'm actually pressing it. I'm not tapping it, so I'm pressing it on the back of my hand. So I'm going to actually go right in the middle here of my inner corner, and I'm just going to basically follow the direction of my upper lash line. So it's kind of going that way, and I'm going to follow that, and you want a very minimal amount of product on here. And you can see, you'll see the difference between this eye and the other eye. Like I'm just creating that really thin line, and you can see how that's going down. And I've just kind of like gone into the lower lash line as well, but just a little bit. I'm not taking it all the way across. And then we're going to dip it into that color again, dab it a couple of times on the back of the hand, so there's a very small amount of product. And this is where I'm going to basically, so you can see that line went down there. This one is going to kind of go up. So it's kind of like that. That's what we're creating, that kind of angle. It needs to look like it's flowing from your lash line naturally. So what we're going to do here is we're gonna like just create a really thin line, and usually just kind of like with my finger just drag it. And you can see I'm not actually going right from the middle here. I've gone up a little bit because I want to give the illusion of more feline eyes. It's very naturally fading out to the point where it doesn't really kind of look like I've got eyeliner on, because I don't want to have that eyeliner look. Okay, like seriously, how much of a difference does that make? Like you've got that eye, which is kind of normal, and then you've got just from that one little line there and that line there, which is a bit bigger, a bit longer, we've got that really nice feline look now. Now, I know that there are loads of videos out there showing you how to fake bigger lips, obviously overlining the lips a little bit or using different kind of shades of lipstick or lip color to help give the illusion of a fuller pout. I'm going to show you something which is really easy and is something that I do on myself, and I also do on clients if they want to have that kind of bigger lip look. I'm going to get my lip liner, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude, and I'm actually going to line the side. So this side and this side first. I'm going to go in with a different lip liner in the middle, and I'm going to show you why shortly. So I'm going to actually go from my actual lip line. So I'm not overlining at all here. I'm going to use a slightly darker lip liner now. I'm going to use the MAC lip liner in Whirl. Make sure you sharpen it. And this is where we want to go slightly above the lip here and slightly below the lip. And that's going to make them look slightly bigger and just give that really nice kind of middle pout section. So I tucked in my lips and then I've gone above my lip line there, and I'm not creating too much of a dip. To be honest, that's like more personal preference. So if you want more of a dip, then you can do that. If you don't want as much of a dip, then you can do what I'm doing. Now, don't think that no one can see that it's overlined. In pictures on Instagram, I've seen it so many times on different people's pages where you can see the actual lip line. You're gonna see that inevitably, but you can help it a little bit, like help to kind of distract the person from that. So don't just overline and leave it. Go, like drag the pencil downwards, so you're kind of like shading that section in, and then the lighter color is gonna go here. So you don't wanna just outline and then that's it. You wanna blend it kind of downwards. Now I'm tucking this in, and you can see I'm going a little bit below, and then I'm going to meet the real lip line. So now what you want to do is get your lip brush, there's nothing on there, and you're just going to blend the lip liner inwards. You can go in with whatever lipstick you want and then finish it off that way. And if you feel like you want a darker lip line, you can do that too. I have my lip liner on, and the last time I applied lip balm was probably around 2 hours ago, so it's all kind of like come off, but my lips are not super dry. Like I feel like it's still that slight tackiness there. So I just want to be honest with you about how my lips are feeling right now. You don't have to have them super dry. You can go in with a lip balm and just blot it a few times and then go ahead with the technique I'm going to show you. This is a technique that I use quite often. So I'm going to go in with first layer, and I'm using my Bobbi Brown Luxe Liquid Lipstick in Barely Nude 2. And I'm just gonna apply this here Unfortunately, it's one of those kind of like, it just goes everywhere, no matter how many times I've cleaned it. You don't need a lot of this. So now I'm gonna actually blend this, as in like just use a lip brush and spread it out. I'm not going into the lip line too much. Now what you wanna do is you wanna blot. So you're just gonna get a tissue. I've blocked my lips. Now I've got my Real Techniques brush. You can get any kind of like fluff brush, and I put a little bit of powder on here from it's my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder, but honestly I've taken off most of it. So there's not a lot on the brush. I'm gonna very lightly now just kind of press over it. Okay, now we're gonna go in with another layer. So I've just taken it from the side because there's just so much product around the that bit. Now I'm going to do the exact same again. I'm going to blot it. Now because these lip products are not overly thick, I don't have to worry about kind of the product building up too much on the lips. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of powder. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more to the brush, very light. I like to kind of smile when I'm doing it because otherwise what I'm doing is I'm not getting into those lines. Now I'm going in with my other lipstick. I like to add a bit of like color. So I'm using my Anastasia lipstick in Hollywood. And then just spread this out. And basically that is how you get them to last much longer. You'll see that when you do this technique, it's gonna just help your lipstick to just stay put. So you can layer it a few times, make sure you add the lipstick, blot, powder, lipstick, blot. You can do it once or you can do it twice like how I did. Okay, this is something I do every day more or less if I'm going out. I use the Color Wow Root Cover Up in, what color is mine? Medium brown, and I absolutely love this stuff. So there are actually two sides to this brush. It's a dual brush. You've got a like big fluffy flat brush for like larger areas of the hair. And then you've got a smaller one, which is a bit more kind of like stiff. It's very short. So I use that side and I basically put the color on the brush and then I just go onto the back of my hand to take the excess off. Now my hairline is not even because I have loads of like little kind of almost like a little crown thing going on there. And there's loads of like baby hair there. So that really annoys me because look, it's just not even, especially like you've seen me wear my hair in the center part, slick back. It's really annoying when I've got this just one kind of thing going into there and it's just creating its own shape. So I go in and I basically apply this into the hair. Like that is much better. Now I feel like we need just a little bit more because I want a really nice even hairline. That is literally it, guys. Honestly, you can use a really dark eyeshadow if you want, but you've got to make sure it's something which doesn't have a sheen in there or shimmer. It's got to be completely matte and something which is something that's going to stay, you know? So maybe try out a couple of ones if you don't want to go out and get this. Obviously, all the products are going to be listed in the description box below anyway, but this is a really easy way to get an even hairline. I do use this a lot on shoots as well if I'm working on models and I obviously want everything to be pretty symmetrical, or even clients, if they want that, then I use a root cover up just to kind of like even out the whole hairline and they just feel more comfortable. So this is something I use quite a lot on my clients because sometimes when I have brides, they obviously are wearing maybe strapless or just general gowns and stuff that my clients may be wearing. So what I tend to do is mix in foundation with bronzer because they want that really nice kind of luminous glow, but also they don't want it to look super shiny. Like I feel like those body bronzers that you get which are super shiny, you know, like the Fenty one and the Huda one, like they're great, they look amazing, but sometimes they're a little bit too much, like too shiny, too sparkly, and I feel like it can be a bit too much. So if you want something which makes it look like it's actually your skin, then you want to use something which doesn't necessarily have too much shine in there. And the way to fake that is using a foundation and a bronzer, liquid bronzer. So I'm going to mix what I tend to use on my clients and even on myself if I'm can be bothered to be honest. I'm gonna mix in, so I'm using my Dior Face and Body Foundation. The color that I use is 3W. Then I'm gonna mix my Stila Stay All Day HD Bronzing Beauty Balm, And I'm gonna just mix some of this in. And I feel like this gives me that really nice golden color to the skin, but it's not kind of overly, you know, it doesn't make my skin look like a disco ball or like a bronze disco ball. I'm gonna use my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Complexion brush. You can use kind of like any kind of brush which you feel will help you to kind of move the product over your skin really well. And honestly, a little goes a long way, to be honest, and you also don't want too much of it on. Now I'm gonna start applying this just here. You're obviously only gonna be able to see a certain amount, but I really kind of like just go in circular movements. And I just feel like it just gives me a really nice floor. It just makes, you know when you've done your makeup and everything looked great, and then it's like you can see patchiness on your skin, and you just want everything to kind of look really flawless. So this is mainly if I'm like, I've got a special event, or you know, I'm wearing something which you can see the neck area a bit more. I'll put some on my arm in a minute so you guys can really see. I mean, already I don't know if you can see, but my neck area is super nice and clean and flawless, and I just feel like it all kind of flows better. So like, I've got this on my hand here. You can already see I've got a tan. That's from cycling every morning, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'm gonna try it anyway. It just really gives such a nice finish. Like, it just looks more flawless. Actually, let me show you. Oh my gosh. Let's just put it there for you guys to see. I can really see it. This is very veiny, patchy red in certain areas, and then this side is just smooth and like flawless. So that's how I get flawless skin on the body when I'm working on clients or on photo shoots, or even on myself when I've got a special event coming up. So hopefully you guys can try that too. So I hope you've enjoyed these game-changing beauty secrets and picked up loads of tips and tricks along the way. Now, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments box below. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of the future videos. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.